Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Here on the home of the slightly above average ship review, I'm your host, KPZ. Today, got a double shot for you in the Italian Tier 7 Tech Tree Battleship Vittorio Veneto, just out of early access and available for sale. Community contributor visitor videos are hitting the airwaves, so I thought I would put mine out. And I'm bringing you a double shot of the VV. All right, I think this map is called North. We're top tier. And look at that. First salvo, almost 20,000 damage on that key. It's deeply ironic to me that the Japanese named this ship Key, because I'm pretty sure the word key in Thai, which I speak, means shit. So, not that I'm saying the key sucks, but I don't own one for a reason. All right, anyway, so we're going to continue shooting at the poop ship because I can, and he bowed toward us, so we're not going to do a whole lot of damage. So like I said, we're top here. I think this map is called North. And we're going to do what I call a pretty nice little bit of domination here in the Vittorio Veneto. Now, if you have a ranged commander that you had to pay for, like Azer Lane Littorio, and you built the Vittorio Veneto as a ranged commander, you know, as you can see at range, shell grouping, dispersion, not so much. So I certainly can't blame you. Please keep posting on Reddit if you are a Reddit member. Keep posting on Reddit and keep putting the pressure on Wargaming to release a free tech tree, I guess you would call it, Italian commander. T-Bull, as you know, you may have seen his post on Reddit espousing everyone to, quote, put up a smokescreen and to make a big deal about it, because he believes if everybody makes a big deal about it, then you will have the option for a range build commander without having to pay for it. And I agree with that. Now, before the advent of these ships, when it was just the Roma, pardon me, and the Julio Cesare, I was a big advocate for that range commander. However, I don't feel the tech tree ships need a range commander. I think if you're using anyone other than D. Rebelle in the tech tree battleships, you are making a mistake. However, I can't say the same thing with absolute certainty about the Julio Cesare and the Roma. Although I've had great games in both those ships, and you have seen them, if you are a loyal viewer of my channel, rethinking the Roma and the Emperor, my match in the Julio Cesare, you know, we performed great. But I think both those ships, because they don't have SAP secondaries, you might be able to get something different going on with a range commander. So I totally espouse that. I can't promise I'll be using it or not, but I utterly espouse that. All right. So we kind of gave up at shooting at the key because he went and hid between some islands. Not saying I would have done anything different in that occasion either. All right. Look over here. We got a North Carolina soft-skinned, quote-unquote, fast battleship for the U.S. I will definitely go get some of that. Got to say, I'm running out of this Italian camo. I really hope Wargaming makes it so if you make a perma camo, regardless of what you make it out of, I really hope you get these red and white bow stripes that are so prevalent or indicative or symbol of the Italian Navy. Really like the way those look. And if I make a permanent camo, regardless of what I make it on, I expect to see those bow stripes Wargaming. All right. I think we quickly peaked. I have a main battery range of just 15.1 kilometers with my build in Paolo di Ravelle. So we've got to knuckle down and get here as fast as we can. So I'll tell you, while you are getting into range of your main battery, if you do a build like I do with Brawler and running with scissors, then a great use of your rolling smoke screen is getting into your main battery range while the enemy ships are presumably not shooting at you because they can't see you. That's one of the things I'd really like to use that rolling smoke screen for. We haven't had a call to use that yet because I haven't been shot at by anyone yet, except for maybe the key, and I didn't take any damage from anybody, so good times. All right, so we're coming up here on this smoke screen that my teammates put down because they didn't want me to see where the enemy ships were. And based on the outcome of the match, or at least my performance in the outcome of the match, you will see that was probably a good idea. All right, we got a Talon over here. Tallinn is the capital of Estonia, if you did not know that. Boy, I hope that's correct. I think it's the capital of Estonia, and also is the name of a quote-unquote Russian cruiser. But we're going to shoot at the North Carolina. He has given us some sweet broadside. We're going to take it. The Tallinn gets taken out, and we disable one of the North Carolina's turrets. My advice to you is figure out what battleships have soft skins and target them first in this ship, because your dispersion and shell grouping is poor, and so you want to have the most meaningful or consequential hits that you can on enemy ships. So given the choice between a North Carolina and maybe a Russian battleship that's not broadside, I'm shooting at the North Carolina. You know, so have a general idea of the armor profile of the battleships you're going up against. Here's a quick look at the team. Sorry, we're on neighbors. I think the next match is on North. I wonder how I'm going to have to remember that this is neighbors. I just know the other side of the map is the destroyer side because all the little rocks. I'm very happy we weren't over there. All right, we got a Colorado over here too. So between the North Carolina and the Colorado, you want to target the North Carolina. Not because he's broadside, but because the Colorado has better armor. And right there, we get a hit to Citadel. Looks like 3 pens and 1 overpen. Goodbye, North Carolina. Now, here's the danger in a scenario like this, if you're not already aware. I put on my smoke screen because I don't want the Colorado. I didn't really want him to see me turning because I adjusted my position in the water to deal with him. As you can see, I did shoot there, which essentially does away with our smoke screen, but that's okay. I just wanted to maneuver without him getting some shots off at us. As you can see, these secondaries are already going off. But back to what I was saying, the dangerous thing about this kind of encounter right here is it is a win for the Colorado if he rams you and takes you out, because you're a tier 7 battleship. So you really got to do whatever you can to make sure that doesn't happen. Here we are shooting up into the superstructure, just trying to do some damage. I really wish there was a friendly torpedo indicator. Maybe that's asking a little too much from Wargaming. They can't even work out the spawns. So here we're going to get that third turret on, put another shell into the superstructure. But right now I'm terrified of being rammed. But as you can see, one of my teammates snuck some torpedoes by and took out the Colorado. Thank you very much, blue teammate. Look at that. The blue team doesn't always let you down. They just let you down when you need them not to. Don't worry, we'll revisit that later on in this match. All right, so we've cleaned out this side of the map with the help of our teammates. So there's an enemy ship that I would like my teammates to shoot at, but I see the fallacy here. The bulk of the enemy team, if you look at the mini-map, is down near our base. So that's why I'm turning right now and going to defend our base. And I really wish all of my teammates, except the destroyer, would go with me to defend our base. That's not going to happen. Let me see a show of hands. Who's shocked that somebody on your team did not understand what was happening in the game? No one's shocked. All right, so the destroyer, the Z-23, takes out our destroyer. And this cruiser right there is the ship I'm talking about, who's just going to go do his own thing. And that is what it is. I promised myself I would not try to rip into him too much. I'm not here really to do that. I'm here to talk about the battle performance of the Vittorio Veneto, which to this point has been pretty freaking great. 76k damage, and I got most of my health left. I mean, how can you argue with that? But I really would like that Albemarle to come help us here. And the fact of the matter is, when you watch this play out, he just won't do that. He just won't do that. Is he totally worthless? No. He kills the enemy destroyer, which is a good thing, but I think he could have done more. Let me know if you agree in the comments. We're not going to talk about him anymore, regardless of what I do on the screen. All right. So I realize we're not getting help, so it's me and this other battleship coming down here. And we know we're going to face off 4-on-2. So we've really got to get some work done, because all of these 4 ships are going to be fighting us. And the other ship that's left is going to be fighting the Z-23. So we're just continuing to troll along here. I'm sorry this is a little boring. I would have sped it up. I know there are 2 matches. I just tried to get the aggregate total of both matches under 30 minutes, and I did that. So If you want to leave after this first match, that's cool. I appreciate you watching anyway. But you're about to see, not necessarily chaotic, but you're about to see the staying power of the Vittorio Veneto when it's top tier, even when you're clearly outnumbered. And I gotta say, in retrospect, it's one of those things where you didn't realize how much damage you were doing and how much damage you were taking at the time. So here's the first enemy ship that we see. Look at eyes now. He's shooting at the ship next to me, which is a good thing for me. We don't necessarily do any damage to speak of. As you can see, our base is also being capped at the moment by a Fiji. So we also have that to deal with. You know, we are not winning on points. So at this point, it is really incumbent upon all the members of the blue team to defend the base. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see in matches, is that your team members fail to acknowledge when your own base is being capped, and they will continue to try to cap the enemy base even when they have no chance of winning by doing that. Don't know what's happening with the video there. Sorry about the choppiness. I am not cutting anything. As you can see, our secondaries kick in here on the Gneisenau, and we're lighting them up. Bismarck out there, not necessarily shooting at that yet. And I want to say this may have been, no, I wasn't locking on with my secondaries at this point. All right, so here's the Fiji. This is a priority target, in my opinion. Very dangerous ship, spamming, and I want to take him out as soon as I can. There you can see a hit to Citadel on the Fiji, really messed him up. We're going to throw our rear turret shells out there, continuing to have the secondaries go off. We are over 100,000 damage to this point. Our teammate gets taken out, so it is a 3-on-1. So in this scenario, my opinion is you eliminate the easiest ship first. And so we're going to eliminate the Fiji. Almost. Got another hit to Citadel. Off screen, the other ship took out the Z-23, so that's good and everything. But essentially, we're 1-on-3 trying to defend our cap right now. So I'm just studiously ignoring the Gneisenau behind me. I don't want to turn to fight him and open myself up to torpedoes. And I also want to take this Fiji out, because by taking him out, that's one less ship that can shoot at me. And we do take him out with another hit to Citadel and a bunch of other ribbons, so that's cool and everything. At this point, he looks far enough away from me, so I'm just going to let him go. You can see we, without trying to, dodge some more torpedoes. So this Bismarck is the next focus of my attention. And we're at a pretty good angle to him. I'm going to bow in a little bit more, and bowing in was a good idea. You can see here this next salvo does a pretty good chunk of damage. We unlock that high caliber metal. Secondary guns continuing to pile up damage, but unfortunately we're on fire twice, and unless we get help, we are not going to succeed in this scenario. And I'm telling you now, we aren't going to succeed. Now I'm just blindly steering away from these torpedoes. We hit our health. I'm desperately trying to get a reload on this Bismarck. Get some good salvo off there. Confederate metal unlocked. And I'm just trying to get a reload on these front two guns. I feel if I can get that reload, that we can take out the Bismarck with our next salvo. Unfortunately, that is just not going to happen. We have accrued too much damage. We are on fire. Even though I hit the damage con there, we just don't get enough to get the reload. So we're going to lose this match. I think I chop it right here. All right, did chop it. Here we are on the defeat screen. Confederate metal, high caliber metal, 160,361 total damage, 117 secondary battery hits. And you can see the numbers there. Top tier. You shouldn't have any problem with the de Revel build doing damage against the enemy ships. We are going to review the ship in the port. We are going to review the commander build at the end of the next video. All right, there we are at the top of the board in a loss. What else is there to say? I just don't agree with some of the decisions of my teammates, and we'll leave it at that. All right, here in a minute, we are going to go to match 2. That match is going to be on North, and we are going to be down tier. So I'm showing you one match, top tier. We dominated, had 160,000 damage. Now, how will this kind of build, a brawling build, do when it's down tier, when you're facing legendary ships? Well, let's find out. Here we are, same build, same ship, nothing changed. just the map and the tier of our opponent. All right, we're heading into the alpha cap. I really wish the destroyer had come up here to spot, but again, some people do different stuff, different than I would do it, different than you would do it. I'm sure sometimes in these videos, I do stuff different than you would do it, and you're screaming at the TV screen, maybe. So, you know, it is what it is. You just got to deal with whatever your teammates are doing and try to make the best of it. So we're stopping alpha from being capped. I don't know if there's a destroyer in the alpha cap, so my goal is just to prevent alpha from being capped, and if I can take out the ship on the other side of alpha at some point, then I'm going to do that, okay? That's the only plan I have going in here. I would love to shoot across the map, but I don't have the main battery range. As you know, main battery range in this ship with this build, 15.1 kilometers. This is like a boxer who wants to get you in the corner of the ring. And once he gets you in the corner of the ring, or like you ever played GTA 5, you get the guy in the corner and you're fist fighting him, he can't really do anything to you because you got him in the corner. Same scenario here. You are trying to get the enemy ship in your main battery range and then into the range of your secondary battery and wear him down by the sheer volume of damage. All right. I want to mention with this build and in last game, we have a main battery reload of under 26 seconds. Is this a full out, full-throated secondary build? No, it is not. Okay, so I'm of the opinion you got to have a low main battery reload in these ships, because between the main battery reload and the turret traverse on these ships is rather good comparatively. So I did everything I could to reduce the reload of the main battery, which we've done. There were people complaining in Reddit saying my main battery reload is 32 seconds. And I'm like, well, maybe you need to make better equipment choices. My main battery reload is under 26 seconds. And I think it's vital to do that if you're neutering your main battery range. Okay? You want to get in close, you want to isolate and corner the enemy, and then you want to use your secondaries and your reload to take him out. All right, here is a Minotaur, one of the most very hated ships in the game. At least for me, I hate the Minotaur. Someday I'll do a video on the Minotaur when I'm done hating it, but right now this is my dream. Now I'm expecting him to launch torpedoes, but I've just got to get this salvo off. And we line it up. There come the torpedoes. We absolutely obliterate the Minotaur. 4 hits to Citadel. Devastating strike, kill number 1, and we only ate 1 torpedo for our trouble. So we'll hit our first heal. That is a victory in my book. All right, we got a Yamato over here, just under 6 kilometers away. We're going to see if we can light him up next. Now there, I focused my secondaries on him because I don't want to be distracted. We're aiming for the bow. You can see we do a little damage, not the damage I had hoped. That is probably a dispersion issue, where the shells didn't line up the way I wanted them to. Right here, I hit my secondary charge. I also hit my rolling smoke, and that's so I can get closer to the Yamato and not have as much to worry about from the enemy ships. Even though they're radaring me and they can still see me, that's cool and everything. The Yamato gave us too much broadside. We'll take him out for kill number 2. All right, got a Brandenburg over here. We're going to turn our guns toward him, and we're going to do a little bit of studious ignoring on the enemy ship. Right over there, it is a Cleveland. I'm going to put this rock in between myself and the Cleveland, although I got to admit, he was very annoying to me at that time. And we're going to turn our attention back to the Brandenburg. Now, by turning and looking away, yep, you mess up your turret traverse, so just keep that in mind. But to me, the Brandenburg is the most important enemy, so we're going to put some shots out on him. And he gets taken out by somebody else right before our shells land. All right, here, I slow down. I'm trying to get a, or maybe I didn't slow down, but I think I'm trying to get a heel in place, or at least turn into the Cleveland. All right, so we've shifted our secondaries to the Cleveland. As you can see, there they go. We'll hit that heel. We will light the Cleveland up. Again, no problem doing damage to the Cleveland. And of course, he's the closest ship, so we are going to try to take him out. Teammate Yamato chips in and absolutely takes him out with a dev strike. Thank you, Mr. Yamato. All right, got an Iowa over here. Same tier battleship. You know, if you're worried about the performance of the shells of this ship, as long as you're at the right range, I think they will really do by you right. You can see those didn't do a lot of damage, but they did take out a turret of the Iowa. I want to say, I think here the Iowa is going to turn and come basically parallel to us, and that is a colossal mistake on the Iowa commander's part. But that's okay. I'm here for it. I'm willing to accept this. I'm willing to let it happen here in the Vittorio Veneto. All right, so we're turning towards the Iowa a little bit. All right, maybe this is not happening like I thought it would. All right, it's probably not going to happen. He's probably not going to come over here. But I can tell you, I've shot an Iowa many times in the Vittorio Veneto, and I had absolutely no problem penetrating him for tons of damage. Clearly, I'm confusing my matches, and that is not going to happen here because I'm not shooting over that gigantic rock. I'll shoot if I can get clear of the rock, but this isn't the match I'm thinking of where an Iowa came side by side with me and got absolutely lit up like a Roman candle. All right, we're just going to shoot at him from right here. I want to say I think he's maneuvering, so I aim back a little bit. As you can see there, we knock out another turret, but don't really do any other damage. That was kind of disappointing. And what you're going to see here is the Iowa's going to take out, or be taken out, pardon me, by one of my teammates before I can get the reload. The secondaries do kick in, but they can't do anything. All right, so we hit our smoke screen. We're in the cap. Enemy Yamato coming alongside. We took out another Yamato earlier. So we are in our smoke. We are not spotted. And so here's the great thing about the smoke. You can line up the shot and take it. And take it we will. 4 hits to Citadel on the Yamato. Goodness. So don't be afraid of taking on higher tier ships in the Vittorio Veneto. You can do plenty of damage to them. And did he damage us there? Yes. In the big scheme of things, is it going to matter? No. Close quarter expert. Kill number 3. All right, last ship, a destroyer. We're still in the smoke. We switch to HE. Can we get this last kill? I really wonder. As you can see, we have a huge lead as a team. It really doesn't matter what happens here because we are going to win this game, barring an absolute miracle. And I already told you we're going to win the game. So that's a look at the Vittorio Veneto when it is down tier. You know, are there other battleships? I mean, maybe the GK might be able to give you a little bit of a tussle, but I would not be worried at this moment about doing damage to the Montana. I wouldn't be worried at this moment about doing damage. Montana, depending on how it's angled to you. A broadside Montana, you shouldn't have any problem doing tons of damage to it. And I wouldn't worry about a Conqueror at all. So Vittorio Veneto, very hard punching ship. If you are within 8 kilometers or closer, where the accuracy of these shells doesn't really matter much. Here we are, we're spamming at the Shimakaze. My shell grouping leaves a lot to be desired. He's just a little bit too far away. These shells come in, and he gets killed right before they would have killed him. Oh well. All right, if you made it this far, thank you. All right, here we are on my favorite screen, the victory screen. We ended up with a devastating strike and a close quarters expert, 125,802 total damage, 3 big kills, 8 hits to Citadel, and a solo base cap. We ended up with 334,551 and 3896 ship XP and commander XP down tier in the Vittorio Veneto. And I think that's a great game. I don't know if you think that. Hey, speaking of great games, the Fletcher had a great game, over 3,000 base XP. We ended up with 2,597 in those 3 big kills. I am not saddened to be down from that Fletcher because he had a whale of a match. But there we are, folks. That's the Vittorio Veneto. So you can see up tier, you have the potential to dominate. Down tier, you have the potential to, at the very least, hold your own and slug it out with the legendary ships. All right, let's go into the upgrades. Secondary battery mod 2. Damage control system mod 2. Target acquisition system mod 1. And the main battery mod 3. And I ran the same build for the previous game as well. It is the build I use in my Vittorio Veneto. You know, you could do the secondary build. I just think having that main battery have a quicker reload is important. And that's why I run this. Your mileage may vary. There are lots of people on Reddit who have expressed a full secondary build is great for them. They have ARP Haruna. That's great and everything. I made the build out of the pieces I have, and this is what I think really works for me. And most importantly, as you saw, it really works for this ship. As you can see, it's fully upgraded. We got 6 charges of the repair party, 3 charges of the exhaust smoke generator, and 3 charges of the enhanced secondary targeting consumable. And I recommend using this unless you are using a dispersion build with Aaa Littorio. All right, we didn't run any booster flags. Got one of our last Regia Merino camos here. And after that, I'm going to switch to the Type 4 camo, probably. And then we got the 2-year strong flag. Stats, 64,800 hit points and a 38% torpedo damage reduction with our build. Main battery, 3 triple 381 turrets, 15.1 kilometer firing range, reload in 25.3 seconds, and turn in 28.9 seconds. HE shells do 5,800 damage with a 24% fire chance. AP shells, looks like 12,000 damage. Your secondary batteries don't really change that much from the previous ship. 1290 millimeters. Those guns reload every 3 seconds, do 2,000 SAP damage. The 4 triple 152 turrets reload every 4 seconds, do 3,800 SAP damage. The range of both of those secondaries is 7.6 kilometers. And ignoring your secondaries in this ship is a bad idea. All right, here's your Aaa defense, good but not great. You can see those 90 millimeter guns do count as Aaa. They are dual purpose. Maneuverability, 30 knots, 810 meter turning circle, 14.7 second rudder shift time. So I think that's pretty quick. 14.5 kilometer detectability on the surface, 2 from the air, and 13.9 when firing in smoke. And let's go look at the armor viewer. Now, this wasn't awe-inspiring. This is kind of You're going to need all those heals. Let's take it all off down to the Citadel. You've got an above-water Citadel. As you can see, it's T-shaped. It does have a heavier plate underneath your turrets and at the front and rear of the Citadel. But you can get hit pretty hard. Be very cautious when showing your broadside. All right, we'll put the guns back on. Again, these guns aren't awe-inspiring. Your barbettes are a little bit more heavily armored. The face and the front half of the roof of the turret is more heavily armored. But as you can see, the rear of the roof and the sides of the turret are lightly armored. They will get knocked out with some frequency, in my opinion, in any of these tech tree Italian ships. So you're just going to have to deal with it. It's part of playing these ships. The turrets get knocked out. All right. Here we're going to put the bow back on. You do have this one plate right there that's 130 millimeters, so angling should do some good. Your bow is 32 millimeters, so that means whatever that means. This armor belt here looks pretty nice, but again, showing your broadside's a great way to get killed. You know, maybe if there's a cruiser or a destroyer firing armor piercing, you might be able to knock those shells down. Torpedo belt does extend down to the keel of the ship, and there is the rest of the armor of the Vittorio Veneto. All right, what are we still looking at? It kind of looks like the Roma, you know? They're sister ships. If it looked different, you would be surprised. All right, here's our build with Paolo di Ravel. Base trait, time is of the essence. Got to reduce that reload. As you can see, we got Cunningham and Von Hipper as our inspirations. And we got Brawler in row 1, Porcupine in row 2, Firefighter in row 3, Master Mechanic in row 4, and our legendary skill is running with scissors. That's how we run it in the Vittorio Veneto. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. You can always subscribe for more slightly above average ship reviews. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time, everybody. Thanks so much.